Your son can't be in there. I know, by user Lakita_6. I'm at our local YMCA and enjoying some time in the hot tub. There are multiple signs stating no one under 16 years of age is to be in the hot tub. The lap pool is about 5 feet away where swim lessons for young children are going on. A young boy, maybe 5, comes over and stands by the hot tub. His mother, presumably, comes over and says something to him in what I believe is Chinese. The boy steps down 1 step into the hot tub. Before I can say anything, the swim instructor looks over and sees him. Instructor, ma'am, your son cannot be in the hot tub. Mom, I know. She then says something to her son again and he steps down to the 2nd step. She begins splashing water onto him, up over his back. Instructor, even more forcefully, ma'am, your son cannot be in the hot tub. Mom, okay. Splashes her son a few more times. At this point this instructor gets out of the pool and begins approaching the mom, who proceeds to grab her son by one arm and yank him out of the hot tub. She then walks over to the women's locker room door, places her hand squarely on the sign that states, "Parents with children of the opposite gender, please use the family changing rooms," and walks inside with him. They came back out a few minutes later with mom now in a swimsuit, and after that I lost track of them. Finally about to move out at 28, mom did not take it well, by user Lazoft_. For context, I am 28 years old and about to sign a lease with my fiancé. I have always lived with my parents, except for when I went to university, but even then most weekends I would be back home as it was only a 50 minutes bus ride. My parents, especially my mom, are super overprotective. I am an only child and I never really got the freedom I deserved. They have always wanted control over me, like where I work, what I do, where I go, etc. My mom is super worried about my well-being. She doesn't like I have to travel to work sometimes long distances, etc. She had this ideal idea where I move in with them with my wife and have a family at their place. We don't want that. I love my parents, but I also need my own space, my own life, and learn things. When I told them yesterday about our plan of moving out, she immediately started tearing up, her voice got cracky, and she stopped talking to me the rest of the night. She clearly was upset, although she didn't protest against it. They gave us alternative option like moving into their house, and they moved to a smaller place nearby my dad's work, again wanting control of what we do. She's acting very much like a stranger now. She's acting like I want to move out because I hate her. She is clearly hurt. I am not sure how to approach this situation now, and I am scared she will make comments they might lead to arguments. It is awkward to approach her. She is not ready for me to move on and almost makes me feel guilty for doing so. Like I said, they have always been controlling. The typical guilt trip. I have a good job, financially stable now, but she doesn't see this and instead wants me to remain in her nest. How shall I approach this situation? TLDR, mom overreacted when I told her I want to move out at the age of 28 with my partner. Should I renew the restraining order on my fiancé's stepdad? Update, by user DizzyMartian9858. I, 24F, have a restraining order against my fiancé's stepfather. Should I renew it? This is essentially a summary because the actual story is so long and so much detail it would take me 24 hours to write. If you have any questions I will answer them in the comments. So names will be changed for legal purposes. Sorry for bad punctuation in advance, lol. So I was 6 months pregnant in April. Me and my fiancé James were couch surfing trying to stay afloat when his stepfather Kevin and his wife Jen invited us to live with them so we could save up and get our own place in time for the baby. We jumped at the offer for no rent and a room. All we have to do is pay for our own food. So we take the 2-hour drive to their house. This is who all is in the house: Kevin, Jennifer, Jennifer's daughter from previous marriage Chloe, and James' half-brother Travis. There are 3 bedrooms in this house, so I ask where our room is. Our room was the screened-in back porch. Remember, I am 6 months pregnant in Southeast USA. It was 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside and there was no ventilation or AC, just a mattress on the porch floor. Now Travis doesn't sleep in his room, he is more comfortable on the couch, so there is one room not used, but they won't let us sleep in there just in case Travis wants to sleep in there. He never did. Also, Travis is mentally delayed. This is important info for later. So fast forward 2 months and I am miserable. It is hot. We have to pay $500 a month and pay for our own food, which isn't horrible but is not what we agreed to do, and it's even hotter outside. I have started getting irritated with Jennifer because she is always talking about how fat I am and how much I eat to her 17-year-old daughter Chloe. Chloe also brings home college kids to sleep with, and Jennifer and Kevin allow this and supply weed and alcohol for them. I have to deal with the drunk daughter being loud all night as well. So one day I lose it. I'm in a full-blown screaming match with Jennifer, Kevin, and Chloe, telling them how much I am tired of all the aforementioned BS that's going on. I said I can't live like this. Their solution? I got kicked out, but James got to stay. I became homeless at 8 months pregnant in the middle of summer. I got into a homeless shelter and James saved up money while he was there so we could get our own place. James called me one night and said he couldn't take it anymore. Every day his stepfather was telling him to leave me, that the baby isn't his, I'm abusive, etc. Literally anything to get him to stay there and ditch me and our unborn baby. So me and my grandpa drove to pick him up in the middle of the night. Once his stepdad found out, he lost his shit. He started threatening us over text, first on text now apps, then started harassing my family, then calling James' new job, then DSS trying to get my baby taken before he's even born, then threatening to kill my son. Now Kevin is a veteran and has multiple guns and knows how to use them, so I was rightfully terrified. I collected evidence and got a court date for a restraining order. At court he tried to use Travis as a witness, saying I hit James multiple times and they were just trying to get him away from me, lol. Well, the judge immediately did a competence evaluation on Travis and he didn't know his name, where he lives, what state we are in, what court was, why he was here, but he said his dad wants him to make sure he said. I hit James, that's all he had to say. The judge immediately knew he was coached. I had a mountain of abusive FB posts, screenshot, testimony from family, and phone records. The judge was so horrified from the contents of those FB screenshots she made Kevin read them out loud verbatim. Court ended and said she would let us know in a day or two what the verdict was. That same day she said I won and got the restraining order. He got his guns taken and is still salty, posting BS to FB. Not as violent though, he took down all those other posts, but I still have screenshots, lol. My restraining order is ending in 5 months. Should I try to get it renewed? He hasn't reached out to me, but he does still have anger towards me in his posts on FB. Update. So I just found out that he has tried to appeal the restraining order and failed just 3 months ago, so yes, I will be renewing the restraining order. How soon can I start that process? Today is the 1-year anniversary of me going no contact with my family over money and social media, by user by Thought did. I haven't spoken to anyone on my mother's side in 1 year over this, and I'm questioning if I ever will again, despite loving them and wanting a relationship with them. I am married and my husband and I share the exact same background story. We both grew up poor in bad environments and we both left home at 18 for college and never looked back. I didn't meet my husband until I was 31, and by then, we'd both managed to overcome our upbringings and create decent lives for ourselves. We are dinks with a very modest home and we keep our expenses minimal because we prefer regular travel over nicer things. We both work remote as well, so from the outside looking in, we appear to always be on vacation. At one point, I decided to start posting travel content to see if I could generate a following and monetize it, which ended up working out and I was able to earn small amounts and a few free things here and there. I was more than happy with this outcome, so I continued to post in hopes of what this might become. I live across the country from my family, so no one had any idea that I was doing well before I started posting because I usually only saw them on holidays. My increased posting of our travels led to my family members start asking me for money. I was initially happy to help because the requests made sense and it didn't hurt the budget. Over time, it started going from a couple hundred here and there to increasingly ridiculous requests, as well as more people asking. For example, my brother's fiancée asked me to pay for their wedding. Not help but to cover it completely. My husband became fed up, and together we created an agreement with each other that any request over a certain amount needs to be approved by the other. He also said that my mother is the only person I need to worry about and to let everyone else take care of themselves. Now my husband is a lot more bootstrap mentality than I am, so his response is usually no, whereas I used to have a harder time with that. With him supporting me, it became much easier to say no. I even gained confidence after a while, and eventually, everything except someone being homeless or hungry became an easy no for me. My family definitely noticed the shift and commented on it, but it didn't seem like a big deal. Fast forward, my mom slips up while we're talking on the phone and I find out that she was lying to me about why she needed money. After I cut everyone off but her, they began asking her to ask me and she would do it and pretend that it was for her. This hurt my feelings and my response was to stop helping her financially as well. She started asking other people in the family instead. One day, I get a phone call from a cousin of mine. This cousin makes good money, but he has a whole family to support and he is also regularly asked for money. He asks me why my mom is asking him for money instead of me, and tells me that I need to step it up and share the load. He goes on this tangent about how we need to stick together and take care of the people who took care of us. I don't bother explaining how we got here, just keep it civil and let it go. After this, a younger relative of mine who also posts content makes a video about people who don't help family and forget where they come from. Imagine my hurt and surprise to open the comments and see my aunt comment, I won't say any names, but rhymes with Clara. My name is Sarah. Even worse is that the comment had a lot of likes, replies, and laughing emojis from other family members. That was more than enough for me. I haven't talked to anyone since then and have removed and blocked all of my relatives from social media. I don't know if this is permanent and I do miss them, but I'm just not ready to deal with the entitlement and ungratefulness again. Why am I being held responsible for how my younger siblings dress? By user simple_operation 7054. So I'm 22 and been living at home while I finish my last 2 terms of nursing school I have left, and it has been rough being here. I'm honestly frustrated. My mom constantly tells me that what I wear isn't appropriate and that my younger siblings are copying me. But I really don't think I dress badly or overly revealing. I usually wear maxi skirts, maxi dresses, and yes, I do wear crop tops sometimes, but my overall style leans more toward a boho aesthetic. What I wear fits me well, and while I may have a slight bit of appeal, I don't think I look provocative, I just happen to have curves that I can't exactly control. She told me she'd prefer I wear more flowy blouses, looser pants, maxi skirts that aren't as fitted, crew neck tops, less jewelry, and less makeup. But the crazy part is she wears super tight tops with cleavage out, tight clothing in general, and even shorts where her butt is literally hanging out. There was even a time I wore a maxi tube dress, and she told me I looked naked, but a couple of weeks later she wore the exact same style dress except hers was way shorter. On top of that, I've noticed some of my clothing has gone missing, and I've seen that she's been stealing and wearing my clothes. And because she's bigger than me, my clothes end up stretched out. I even found some of my things hidden in a bin. When I bring it up, she just says, I'm grown, and reminds me that when she had me at 20, she had to change the way she dressed because she had a daughter watching her. That makes no sense to me. BC, she has 2 other daughters, but somehow I'm the one who has to change? And honestly, I don't think me changing my wardrobe is going to stop them from wanting to wear those things anyway. I think it's more about their friends and what's popular at school, but when I tell her that, she keeps blaming me and it's really starting to piss me off. On top of all that, she keeps making comments about me buying things for myself, and how she couldn't do that because she had me. But I don't constantly spend money or splurge, I buy what I need, or occasionally treat myself and keep up with my maintenance. And it's not like I don't help out around the house either, always pitch in when needed. I'm just tired of being made out to be the bad influence when I'm really just living my life, minding my business, and not even doing anything extreme. Has anyone else dealt with this kind of double standard? How do you handle it without completely losing your mind?